I, my friends, am wet. Let's see if everything works. I think yes. Maybe do like a little bit quieter here and then like a little bit quieter there. Yeah, let's hope that works. So, camera's working. I have my water, I have a coffee. I think there's not much to say, right? Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. Just kidding. I don't have the charisma of that man. I want to paint stuff. So we are doing that. There's a bunch of stuff I want to paint. First and foremost, I need to find the minis I had, especially for this. Oh god. Headset, chill the fuck out, man. I have like 2 minis. One is this and one is that. And I think I will paint this one next. Because of that, I need a bit of inspiration. So this goes way faster. Let's paint this mini first. So, this music is question mark. I have a few ideas how to paint this, but I need to get better lighting. Because this has like very bad lighting quality. Nope. I'm working on my lighting right now. Let's do it like this then. If the light cannot come closer to us, we come closer to the light. And my model fell down, which is a bad thing because I need to now pick it up. And hope nothing has broken off. So this model, let's start with that. I have a few ideas for that model. I want to give it, because originally this character was clothed like a nun. I want to give it like that same aesthetic. So this character, as you may see, has like not very many things that go along with her. Her entire gimmick is being seamless, at least in the setting she's in. So we are taking black. We are taking dark gray. And we take maybe Luftwaffe uniform. I'm thinking about doing like a 5-color gradient. We need a bit of white. We need a few skin tones. A few skin tones. And I think we should start. So how is everyone doing? Because I'm doing, for the most part, fine. So yeah, let's start. We're taking a bigger brush and start with black. I have a few ideas what to do. Forgot to shake my bottle. Nearly fucked that one up. I need a bit of black for this model. I'm taking the moisture from like this. I think that's a bit too much water. I sound like IGN. Yeah, this is way too much. This reminds me. This right now reminds me of like Army Painter's color choices. Let's take a bit more of the black. That was a bit much, but we can work with that because we have the second model that needs also a lot of black. We're layering, we're base coating this with like black hair. So, woman has black hair now. Now we can get to the clothing. So we have like a few different colors we need to like address here. We want stark black and whites. Hello. It is great. Just a great color set. I think it was way the right choice for this. Like for what I want to do with it, like especially for 3D printed minis, this seems very ideal because it looks very good on the model, which for 3D printed models, they're not always perfect. They have like some texture, you know, you can see it like, especially with the shading. Like you cannot get around that. And I think how the colors work it like works very good with 3D prints. But yeah, like I'm very happy. By the way, I do not know what the focus is doing. I hate this camera. Configure. I don't know why it does not save my settings. Focus. So again, this color scheme of this model is like a Catholic nun. So very much black and white. By the way, they added... Dude, I do not know why I cannot see the entire YouTube chat. They added main Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I heard that. It took like 5 seconds, and I'm like not even kidding, that people ripped her model and made porn with it. I'm like very impressed by the internet. Like this was like record time. Like usually I'm like always impressed with like how people can like chug out porn that fast, but like there was like speed run. Yeah, I like I'm not like interested in like I don't know, source filmmaker porn or something like that. But like how fast they did that, dude, that was like quick. I see something. Good. Let her. I don't need art. Live really fucks me. I mean, yeah, also that, but like in all reality, like I'm incredible. Like it's incredible how people turn out like an animation or like a workable model of like a character, churn it out so fast, you know. Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache, Junge. I should have just primed it black. Would have made things way easier. But yeah, like all in all, it's crazy how people were that fast about that. I find it funny that, like, by the way, like, not even 5 minutes after my stream yesterday ended, I just like did that sub to, like, because let's be real, like I was so interested in like how that AI works that I like spent way too much time on that, and then now I basically sub to Neuro for like 1 month, and then I'm like, she said not Renikin, which I would think she would do. Well, it was Reneki. She said like Renekin, right? I mean, it's not that bad. Like, it's like very similar to how people say my name in German. They say Reniken. So it's okay. But like, it was so fun that like I got the instant call out. Like that AI said, okay, this guy and like 3 other dudes, you know? It was a fun thing. It's the British debuff. Dude, it's not only the British debuff, it's like the brain rot debuff, man. But like I would be lying. I'm not denying that I find that AI very entertaining. Because I'm like very interested by the project Vettel has done. And like, I'm not a very big fan of AI as it stands right now. Like, I have to say that. Like, AI, in my opinion, is like not a real AI. The large language models, I mean, they're basically the first steps, right? But they're just saying what, like, they're like, as is the same. Yeah, Neuro's the shit out of Niji. That's true. But like, the language models, even Neuro's, is just like completing your sentence in a way you want to hear it. Like, if we go deeper into what like also Vettel has said, how she works and stuff like that, I totally get like that people are infatuated with her. And I would, again, lie if I wouldn't say, like, I find that AI very entertaining. But, like, I'm not a big fan of AI, especially, like, primary art AI. As an artist, I do not like it, because it just, like, takes someone else's work, modifies it, and, like, basically does not credit. Which I find very, very ridiculous, that like, I have an AI that can take what I do and just like say it's like someone else's. And then, yeah, I should have base coded this model so black, man. I don't know why I'm doing this, but sure. But like the same goes not only for that. For like art AI, but like voice changes, you know. Yeah, you will like the old man VTuber thing is like the idea I have. I just need to make a good twist on it to make it more entertaining, other than like, oh, this guy's old. Because for the debut stream, right, we need to have like a very good theme. Either like I've brainstormed some themes to go by, either like old man from the future, or like eldritch cult leader, or abomination, you know. But like, I personally don't see myself, except for the meme, of course, But like, I don't see myself very connected to like Eldritch Abomination stuff, right? Like, I like Lovecraftian works, but I'm not a very big like dude into like. I'm not very deep into like Lovecraft. But the thing is, I don't want to be like super cringe, you know? Like, I love role-playing, but I think like role-playing a VTuber for like a stream is very cringe as well. Like being like, oh, I'm an old man and now that is my personality. I mean, like, making up a bit of voice is like, okay. I mean, it's the same thing like that most people do, right? Yeah, I was thinking like, if I go with like a VTuber model, like, should it be like, I would love to go like into like the cyborg route, right? Or like into the I am an Eldritch Abomination from outer space route. So basically like a bit like cosmic. But like sci-fi cosmic and not like, oh, I'm just tentacles, because that is a bit weird. But for that, I would need to like look on the internet how to do like your model. Which will take a bit of time, but is possible. I was thinking about like going into like the sci-fi territory. And then like going Eldritch a bit, like, oh, I am the Dark Lord of outer space, you know. I'm 30,000 years old. I think like that roleplay is already in place. And it does not intrude too much on like who I am as a person. You know? Because I don't want to like say, okay, now I'm doing that one fun stream. Like, again, the plan is to do it once, right? Just to prove a point. But like, I don't want to do like one fun stream. Even if it proves a point. If I have like more viewers, right? I would think about doing it again maybe. But like, I don't want to intrude it on my like who I am as a person. Yeah, I mean, that is like the thing, right? I would be like doxing my my Eldritch entity, but like other than that, everything is fine, you know. Nothing changes on the stream. So it would be like, what is my true form, right? But like for that, I like the easiest way for me would be like something that actually like many VTubers do. Make a 2D model and rig it. So basically, I need to get like, I need to make it myself. I have an idea for the model. For the old Space Emperor of Mankind thing, Eldritch Horror Monster, which I have like as an idea. I would need to paint it, which we could also do on stream. I have instructions on how to do that a bit. But like the rigging is the hard part, you know? Because I do not know how to make a 2D model work as 3D. That is like the big problem, right? Because like for the most part, like that is easy. Yeah, exactly. Or buy pre-rig, right? So I don't have the time to learn to rig. Like it should, like, again, it can be a shitty rig, right? It's like for one stream. Remember that, like, I'm not willing to pay too much money. Or I go on like Fiverr and have someone else rig my model. I don't need like a very complex rig, right? Like my rigging is not that... No, you can see it better. My rigging should not be like that complex. And if I decide that this is actually fun to do and people enjoy it more and I enjoy that, then I would think about like, okay, maybe we do like a bit more into the rigging territory. Like learn it proper, right? Important for the part is like that we have fun for that one stream. And that I get the Neuro collab at some point, right? So I can teach him my name. Like, we cannot let this stand. That is our goal, right? At some point, Old Man and Neuro collab. And then we have like... I will tell her that my name is Rennekin, or she can call me Renee. But not like... Rennekin. But like, if I want to do like in all actuality, yeah, like let's meme about it because this is so unrealistic. But like, if we get to that point at some point in our lives, right, where like a random German dude who cannot properly stream, is old and stuff, can do that with a weird like chibi girl AI, right? Like stream with her. Like in all actuality, you know what I would do? I would want to stream with Evil. I think Evil is more entertaining. Neuro is more visceral, but like Evil is more fun. Because I don't know what's going on with her voice AI, but like that AI just randomly like screaming is like the funnest. as you can see, I've like collected much information on like what actually like this AI does and like what's behind it. I'm like very interested in like that. Again, like I have done my research. I'm like absolutely honest. I'm not 100% sure. I would say I'm an enjoyer of VTubers for the most part, but like they're like any other streamer, right? Just with a different model. So I don't like. It's just a different brand of streamer, which is what I learned over the last few weeks. So yeah. I'm not that different from like a guy who is a programmer in his free time and like I don't know, drinks and pretends to be a turtle, I would say. Like there's always like this, of course, in the top of my head, that like I will not get everybody on my side when I do some decisions, you know. But again, this channel is like to explore and have fun, you know. Yeah, the music is really good, man. The first song was shit, but now it becomes better and better. But yeah, I also agree with you that like the VTuber, by the way, that you showed me yesterday, these guys like who are like they are all fucking deranged, man. They're like my kind of deranged. I like them very much. By the way, you will see more miniature painting very soon, probably. Because at the moment, my Friday D&D group, well, Pathfinder group, they, due to my school, I had like some weird ideas that in a normal setting I would not have. If you know what I mean. Like, I had some ideas and concepts that in theory sound like very good ideas, but my players, some of them, well, they did not like them. That would be like a lie, or that would be like saying something they did not say to me. But like they preferred other things I would have done. Let's say it like this. Like some things I did were not very executed very well, and some of them were like done very hastily. And so like we decided basically already, but I will decide finally on Friday, so everyone can make up their mind, to reset our campaign in some way, because like most of the group died already, and like the narrative plot got lost a bit, because like no character is plot relevant anymore. So yeah, that fell a bit flat. And then I also like did pull out too big of guns, like apparently too quickly, because I put an antagonist on them that they could not beat, like in front of them, that they could not beat in a straight up fight, which was the point of the antagonist, but that did not land well with my players. So now I know that my players like, well, they like puzzles, but they do not like impossible odds, at least that quickly as I've established. And like they felt like, well, one of the sentences that like fell while texting with one was like, it felt a bit Dragon Ball-esque, because like things were like escalating and also way too quickly. Like there were things that in hindsight I should have like, I not 100% agree with what they said, because like there were like things that were kind of opposite of one another, not trying to diss anyone, like not downgrading them or something like that, but like there was like, for example, the talk about like, there was like a small talk about an NPC that was relevant to one of the characters' quest lines, and the quest line basically, just to like summarize what it was about. Character died, comes back as an undead because he has an undead fueled weapon. He wanted to play a zombie, but said he was like mentally challenged because of voices in his head. And like the NPC is interwoven with like his weapon, and he needed to have like one character who would be like the bridge to the rest of the party, was like pretty anti-undead. So I put that NPC with the party, but like apparently that was not a good decision, even though like many people were like asking the NPC directly to come with them. And so like it was like, the idea was like, imagine you have like an NPC, and at first I said no, he will stay back, but then like the player decided, I want to be an undead and like continue that quest line. And I'm like, okay, now this NPC basically has to go with them because it just makes sense. But then like what happened after that was the players were not so happy that they had like an NPC stack, which I'm absolutely agreeing with them. So like, yeah, it was a bit weird. So like I'm like doing a new, like I'm trying to like reboot the campaign 50 years in the future. So basically the heroes semi-failed. They wiped, but like 2 heroes remained, and they pick up the pace, but in their own like way. So like they don't have like a hero group anymore, but like different agents. That was like the idea. And so like they played in a giant empire that like spanned the continent, and had the idea that like forcing everyone together, but like having everyone's strengths combined, is better than like everyone being independent. So yeah, they will see the aftermath of that. I don't want to spoil too much. But the new setting is basically a coastal based setting. So I'm like, yeah, they're doing second gen. Basically, they're like in a different part of their empire, but like the empire basically has splintered. So basically you have like, the empire is not a full empire anymore. It's more like comparable to, let's say, the empire in the empire in Elder Scrolls, where the empire is like very, very weirdly like splintered into different like subfactions, you know. And so like I said, okay, you know what? I love pirates. I think I've always been clear about this. I love pirates. I love coastal adventures. I love the coast. Yeah, exactly. Like one of the characters' goal was like to collect, like, so basically, if he's here at some point, Ridoon's character had like collected or like received like as his background, he had like a book in which an old sorceress lived in, and that sorceress and he decided to do a pact to like become one being, and the goal was to get all of the books, like 6 books about time and space, which unlocked doors or like ways to get like 2 other books that could reshape reality. So he was like basically an anti-hero, because he hated like how the world was, because elves are like second-class citizens, and he was a half-elf, and he wanted to reshape the world to make it better. But like he survived, and like one other player who wants to like, who was like chosen to have like a part of a god as a familiar with him and needed to escort him. Like he was the other part, but those 2 split up after the party like nearly died, the other 3 party members. And so now like the actual threat that like was there in the campaign, which is like an undead dragon, an undying dragon called Sigaricus, is waiting in like limbo to like get re-released into the real world, while the Emperor, who is now an undead, tries to stop Sigaricus, you know? And so like these 2 basically split up, and now we skip like time to like 30 to 50 years. I'm not 100% sure. I will like talk about the one player who has like not 40k. The Emperor was like a presence. Like he's like a revenant, basically an undead who lives as long as the thing that kills him is still alive. Like they want to have revenge, but not always for like bad reasons, sometimes for noble reasons. And so like that was an entire plot that fell flat because the party wiped. But like one of the dragon's main minions, that was like the last antagonist they nearly died to, at least to one of their generals. So basically like the story devolved into like, oh god, we're fighting Eldritch Horrors a bit. And that was like not the original idea. But I needed to get Eldritch Horrors in because that was like one of the main branches of the Empire to fight against. So like I want to have a world where like all of that has passed, but like the sins of the past are like still returning. But they start in like a coastal area of the now shattered empire, which is like basically plagued by like pirates, has much seafaring, has many guilds, you know. Like it's like a few city-states, similar to like the idea of Venice, you know, but like in like mix a bit of like Caribbean into Venice, and then you have basically like the idea of the setting, but fantasy, of course, right? And the idea is like what happens in a world of like the main idea for me to like as the dungeon master or game master is like, how would a world work where like fantasy exists and like guns and stuff, right? That like muskets exist, but like that goes into like industrialization, right? Similar to Avatar. The random old man is the Emperor, or was the Emperor. Now it's not anymore because the Emperor, well, I cannot say because my players could watch, but like the old men are like the ex characters of my players because they are now like 30 to 50 years older. So we have old men. Also, a player of mine could play an old man. Like literally, it sounds like I'm taking a piss, but like one of my characters that I played in a one-shot was an old man because I found him cool. So yeah, take that with a like pinch of salt. Grain of salt, grain of salt. So we need to color pants. But yeah, so we have a bunch of new models at some point because, well, believe it or not, my players will need new models at some point if they want to reset. which it seems like it does, because I know of like only I do not know the opinion of one player, and that player will answer on Friday. So, and I think he will also say, yeah, let's reset, which is not bad. I'm not angry about that. Like I know sometimes it sounds grand when I tell shit, but like I'm not the very best storyteller. I'm not like an author, never was. But I'm also learning. It's not like I'm sitting there and saying, "Oh, I am great." I try to do like good stories, but like I'm not that deep. But like the more I play these games, like for me, it's always very interesting that I start when I play something with like, okay, it has to adjust to the rules 100%. And the longer I think about it, I think, why the fuck not? For example, I say, okay, dialogues during combat don't make sense because a round of combat takes 6 seconds, sorry. And that is a round. But why should they not be able to talk? If they want to talk with a villain while crossing swords, then like have imaginary 6 extra seconds. Why let the flavor die, you know, for gameplay rules? That was like one of my epiphanies I had. Also, now that I have more time, I'm like way more into like doing a bit more, let's say like a bit crazier stuff now. But like not over exaggerating, of course, but like making the world more fantastical and shit. Because that is my biggest problem. I want to have like realistic worlds, and realistic worlds are boring as shit. Like nobody in their right mind wants to just like play Gothic, you know? Like, yeah, there's a Gothic tabletop RPG, and yes, people play it. I'm taking a piss a bit, but like in theory, like most people do not want to play just randomly Gothic. You know what I mean? Like I cannot see anyone in my friend circle saying, well, I just want to play humans with a few spells. Some people do, but I do not, right? I don't play a high fantasy game when I cannot have like floating islands and shit. Which I think is fine for my players, because like my 2 players that like play in both of my groups know what like a more fantastical world of mine looks like, and one of them prefers that world. Who would say like he likes a bit like more of a grounded and like location-based story. So I'm like doing that. No, I'm like thinking about like being proficient in like setting up. One second. Okay, sorry, but yeah, like that's basically like what's going on in my games. I have an idea for this. I need to color the boots. And I know what I do. So the problem with the boots is, like, this character has, like, what look like plate boots or like reinforced boots. I'm not sure what to do with that. If I just do that or not. I'm thinking I'm doing the reinforced boots, so we need to have like brown again. Yeah, I need to drink. Thank you. I need to drink my coffee. Thank you for the advice. But yeah, and like if we play something on stream, that will be like an entirely different setting. I have a bit of that, and I have a very good idea for setting, because you have like a very good goal at the start of the game, which is like literally like you always have to like. It's funny with me in fantasy games, you know. If you know me, you know, which you do because you're watching my streams, and I think I've said it plenty. Like I dig, and I mean really dig, fantasy religions. You know, I'm like a very big fan of like fantasy religions, because I see them in a similar vein to like actual religions, because by definition they are like the same to me. And that makes me like engage in them way more. Like, I think I said it like multiple times on streams. My usual go-tos are like rogues and paladins. If I can mix both of them, I love rogue paladins. Like basically a thief, but a paladin. Or like a fencer and a paladin, right? Which also goes like into the rogue archetype. I mean, like, swashbuckling is usually like a rogue thing, but except if you have like a duelist class or something like that. But yeah, I like the idea of that, and like an honorful paladin, which is like a good person and tries to do good in the world. I like that idea as like a character concept, so I'm like I usually like religion. So like religion is like a very big part in my games usually, except for my last campaign where I said, okay, no religion, because I had a god-centric campaign already. But like I like thinking about like, what do these fantasy people think or believe in? Because it just makes so much fun to like speculate. Because like in fantasy settings, like that is why I find it so fascinating, right? Like you could actually play in like Pathfinder, you could play Hercules. And I mean like literally you could play him. You could just build a character who is like literally Hercules, right? You can play a wizard that can, or a priest that can transform food and drink. You can be like a literally Jesus. You can walk on water. All of those feats are all in there, right? Because of course those games are inspired by like those tales, you know. And yeah, I mean those tales are like, those games are influenced by tales and legends, right? So of course the games like represent that, but like I always think like, what would these people believe in? And I find it funny that like people stop with like the obvious gods, like the most obvious gods that they could imagine. Though I like using them as well. Like, I'm not saying that I don't use like a sun god, for example. But like, yeah, the sun is like so out of reach for for like fantasy characters. They're like, of course they would like worship it at some point, right? Especially like, since like the gods in most settings are real. Like, they are not only a source of power, they are like literally entities that can talk to you. At which point I say, okay, kinda hard to be like an atheist in a setting. Though Pathfinder makes it abundantly clear that like an atheist in like Pathfinder is someone who does not believe the gods are like higher powered entities rather than like just normal like beings. Which I find as an is an interesting viewpoint. One little drop of like the very, 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 very orangey skin tone. I also need to like meet my friend again, one of them. Like, since I was like basically like dead on like Monday and stuff. I could not meet with him, and he deserves to like meet up. I did not want to stand up my friends. It's what I want to say usually. So, let's see. So we can think about like adding a bit more black again and like working out the kings. Let's work out the king. Let's get a little smidge of black in there. To like blacken the hair again, because I had like some mistakes in my painting. So you can see it like here. But yeah, what was I on about? Right, like resetting my campaign. Like if my players are up for it, I reset. Then I can like do my swashbuckling adventure that I always wanted to do, but I never was sure if I like my parties want to do it. But now why not? Why not if I want to do it, right? The color is too thin. I don't want to use too much black. One drop, like this. Because like, oh, you're here. Hello. Yeah, no. It's like not 100 swashbuckling, 100% swashbuckling, but like a bit more swashbuckling. Because in theory, I like swashbuckling and like stuff like that. Oh no, you are making my buckle swash. Yeah, it's like, in all actuality, I think a campaign reset, again, I talked about this now for like about 10 minutes, but like a campaign reset makes the most sense in hindsight. Should have done it way earlier and said, okay, the heroes split up because, well, they did the next session. Yeah, it's okay. Stay here if you want to. It's not that I'm like... Exactly. Again, as I've said before on stream, now I did the very big mistakes, very big like narrative mistake of like A, rushing plots, B, having like the ticking clock be introduced at the very beginning, C, basically have a Dragon Ball Z power scaling plot. It's like, oh, here's the next big bad guy, even though I could just narratively say, oh, they're all the same power, but you're a different level now. Except for like minute differences, you know. Basically what I want to say is like basically the pillaging, raping, thief lord can still happen at level 1 or level 10. Stakes are still the same, you know. Don't need to destroy the world. Like I'm way to jump the gun in terms of like, oh, world-ending threats, destroy the globe, save it, you are the only ones. Which is like a nice trope, but not for that kind of game. Depending on like if you like that trope or not. I'm Gurag's brother. No, the thing about that is, in all honesty, it was like in all actuality, right? Because it does not matter anymore. Like even if you say, like, I talked to Ridun, and he said, well, he would be willing to reset as well. But like with the one caveat, and that is like he would love to play Nadina. And that is like the make or break. If we like do the next session, say, okay, stuff happens, and we continue with a new campaign. Like I have like 3 cutoff points. After Friday, after the day, like after the session after Friday, or like after Nadina. That's the three things, right? And if we decide on the first two options, then stuff happens, and then it doesn't matter. And even if it's in Nadina, like, yeah, as well. But like, I literally had the brother plot. And you can now close your ears if you want to. I give you 5 seconds. Because otherwise I spoil that very, very, very insignificant plot point that I planned from the very, very beginning. And that starts in 3, 2, 1, and I do a hand sign. Aldebrand was the son of the von Bristol family that was like kicked out by the Emperor. He was like the secret son, the hidden son that like basically was able, that would have like the original claim on like Bristlegard. But since he's dead, that never happened. Okay, spoiler over. There was like, I literally had like the Reddit's plotted out at some point. He was like, so basically my players met the lady of like one of the Empire's provinces, and the first antagonist was a character that like hated the Empire for some reason. But like the player who created that character and like that character got NPC-fied, never specified why he left it open to me. And I said, well, it would make sense that because the lady was like the daughter of pro-imperial branch of the family, that the branch that got kicked out of the throne, that branch would have like a vendetta, and that was the plot. But the problem was that never happened because, well, not because I said, oh, you need to let them survive, because I could like have said, oh, you need to let him survive, because nobody fucking knew. And I thought, well, I was like, okay, either they let him live and we have a cool new plot, or he dies and it happened like how it did, and well, he died, you know. Let's do this. I don't know what kind of music that is, so yeah, like there was a thing that happened, and I'm not like heartfelt about it, but there was actually like a Reddit's like plot where like a brother would show up and be the antagonist. So yeah, whoops. I need to prepare a new print. Give me like 2 seconds. I can reach chat. I'm just standing right next to the cam, and then I will paint further. Okay. But yeah, like just spank your printer. No. But yeah, like that was like one of the plot lines. But I had like the DBZ power scaling problem where like the next villain was like not only bigger but stronger and more dangerous and like the biggest threat ever, and like I gave the players at the start too much power, even though they were basically nobodies. But like, not saying the players themselves are nobodies, but like in the world they were quite nobodies. But like, because of their arguments, I said, well, of course they would like, let's make the world reasonable, right? If like someone says, okay, we have like evidence, there's like a fucking dangerous cult who's like, yeah, that also, yeah. I think I should never have sent you, like, to, like, I think most of the stuff that got like addressed would never have happened if I just did not send you north. Just like I should not have done this because I had originally other plans to like keep you near Bristleguard, but because world shotting was a thing, I was like, okay, they now need to go out of the city so A, they can distance themselves from their home spot, because I in my point of view, you had your basically your home spot in like Bristleguard. There was a safety net except for like the escalation that happened there. And then I was like, okay, they have their safety net, they know how the world works, let's send them outside somewhere else, just have them see how that part of the world works. But like apparently, like at least what I got out of the criticism presented, that was like not enough, because like I had like instant turmoil, which I try to address next time better. No, not better without. No. Not better without you. That's not like. Again, as I've said, like on Saturday. Don't misunderstand. Okay, I'm waiting. Okay, answer to the question. Better. How does the world work better without us? I mean, I think the problem is because my first campaign was just like a jumbled mess, especially in the latter half, because I thought we could get like the Hildegard arc going, you know. When I thought that, I was like, okay, let's focus the campaign more on like let the characters have like a bit more say in the world, because in the first campaign, except for like the background of your character specifically, like everything happened just without you, you know. Like you intervened very much, but like there was also like that same problem, and I'm trying to address it. I tried to like counteract it, but I counteracted it too much, and I need to find the middle ground. That is like my homework that I'm doing right now. Is like finding the middle ground between like having you have enough agency, but also have the world say no to you. That is like the thing, and like working in the background. Like there was stuff going on in the background. Otherwise, like the copper coins were not waiting for you, you know. Like they were not sitting there like, oh, we're not doing anything. There was stuff happening in the background. The problem is I don't want to like sit at home and say, well, what shit works in the background? Not because like, just because it doesn't affect you. You will never see this. There's stuff you will see, and that is something you plan, and not like, and that is like some of the criticism. I say, okay, I should have said something, but like, nobody cares if you have like an entire political system in the background that works independent of everything everyone does. You say, okay, that happens, that happens, that happens. These are like the points. You don't need to make up like crazy shit that happen, like crazy mechanics that only affect you as a DM. That is like what I firmly believe, because that makes like everything, in my opinion, just more loaded on you, and causes you to like make one session every 3 months. You know what I say? Like, if I just sit down and think about like what would every NPC do right now, in like 2 days, what the players do. Nobody cares. Like, you will not care anymore. Like, when you meet that NPC, I can say, well, of course you meet him again and he like 2 months have passed. This is what happens in his life. Like, he tells you. But like, I don't need to like plan it out real time, which is something that like you just need like some random, like not some random events, but like some events that happen in the background. But yeah, it's like the world works without the players, but like, of course, like the players should have like a bit of agency, at least in the world surrounding them, but not on a global scale, I think. Which is why the adventure paths in like these games work so well, because like you can just write something and it's like very localized. But that does not mean that I want to have like a story in like a city, which is also an interesting campaign in theory, but like I don't want to DM that for like way too long. Like I don't want a Dragon Age 2. That is what I'm saying. Like that only happens in one city. Anyway. I can make out of you making 2 of the friendly. Do you mean Nadina and Duro? Yeah, I thought so as you've said correctly, Hilda or Hildegard? Yeah, like the problem with the characters was like definitely that I just like the idea with like Nadina was just like she was like, well, how to best put it? She was supposed to be the idea of your Vegeta, if I would put it in like anime terms. Like, not the friendly rival, but like someone who's like not talking until like shit is going down, who's like not interested in like the stuff around her. But Hilda was like the problem, just like Hilda was like problematic flat out because she had like little presence, because I thought about like, oh, she's unexperienced. And then I was like, okay, the Hilda the first thing happens. And the problem was that like I pulled the gun too early on that, because like I should have just waited with Hilda the first and have Hilda the second be just like a bit like holding back, but like not too much as I did. Hilda was not good. Like there were like many characters that I just could have axed. Though like I should have given like the some characteristics of Hilda, like taken some characteristics we had from like other characters to Hilda to make her more benevolent, and like have that like in stark contrast to like Hilda the first, who was like very goal driven, which is like what I should have done, which I have not done and not communicated properly. There's like again, like there's many characters that were like heavily flawed, which is like why I need to like that is like my homework right now, how to like make that shit better, because it was not good. I thought like back in the day when I played, like when I planned those characters, like I had like way different approach to like how I would write them than like nowadays. Or like that, right? Like there could have like been like way more. I wanted to like, the problem was I did not want to repeat like talking about this. The problem was I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to show at the start that the Empire is heavily flawed but not too bad. Yeah. That is true. Yeah, I should have done that. Like the thing was, like, when I was like writing her, like the starting thing, I had the idea, okay, the Empire is heavily flawed and heavily policed, but the idea was that if you turn it around, that like the rebel forces that do heinous shit but are heroes in most stories are actually heinous assholes. That was the main idea at the start. So while I focused on like making the entire organization of like the copper coins or the Kupfermünzen the most horrible people ever, I totally like failed on the front to make like the Empire appealing, but like having Hilda being like actually like heavily flawed would have like probably also helped. But like I wanted to have like that is like the biggest problem I had. I wanted to make these NPCs likable because you started last campaign with Celeste and she was the most unlikable character ever. Like you had only unlikable NPCs except for like except after you went after you basically left the Goldküste. Like up to that point you had no one who was likable. Which is why, like, my other big mistake, like making either too likable or like too unlikable characters. Which is again what I'm trying to like fix now with like the time skip. That is something we need to talk about on Friday as well. Like, I don't have a problem with like parties that need to find themselves, but after the first act I want the party to like at least tolerate one another, because at least from my point of view, having like someone who's like literally the most hated player at the table is a bit toxic, TBH. Like I like a friendly rivalry and I like banter. Banter is fine, but like the problem was that like the characters just like everyone hated each other's guts. Like after the first adventure, nobody of you, like nobody except for maybe like Merocool, Merocool, Ondecool and Remil. Those were the guys who would have like still hung out because they were like kind of on the same page about stuff. They were like grounded in like their desires and goals at the start. And they had like very good dialogue in my opinion. But like nobody would have traveled with Amgurak. Borum was Borum. I had Borum was very neutral. He was too short in the story, but like same with Favim. Favim has more character, but Favim is like, which is why Remil like Ridun put like Remil away, right? Or Raiden. Sorry. Yeah, exactly that. Like, there's like so many characters. I totally forget to paint, but doesn't matter. There's like so many characters that have like problems. And I want to talk about that on Friday as well. That like your characters should like at least try to get along and not like just be like shitlords. Like I again, I don't have a problem with like banter, but like I don't want to say it was abusive. Abusive is a very strong word for that, but like at some point it was just like, okay, let's bash like the most obvious character traits over and over and over again, right? And I think that like hinders the like party working together. But that was just like another observation of mine. Not saying again that like the characters were horrible or something like that, right? Like, I'm not trying to like hardly criticize anything, but like there were like flaws like on all sides, and even though I put much time in like this setting, the setting is not gone, and like I can like reuse some ideas for later. But yeah, it was by far not perfect, and I think it's wise to just like, in my opinion, if it's like, after making up my mind a bit, I would love to like actually restart after the next session. Even though I've planned Nadina and put much work in it, like very much work in it, like I would rather just restart. Just so we have like some group cohesion, like that is more like important to me, instead of like having like 3 random characters talking about random stuff. And so that I can like work on my NPCs a bit. I mean, you cannot do that much damage in the next setting, because, well, you can do much damage, but like in terms of like, I think it's like, I mean, it's a meme, but like also it's like a bit talked in a like very like negative way. Like as you said, like at the beginning when we started talking about it, I don't think you destroyed anything or you bombed anything. I just could have said no, and I would be lying, and that would be like I would be actually lying if I would say, yeah, this was not fun at all. Because like, say what you will, but this session was and is still like a lot of fun. Like, it's very entertaining. But yeah, I would just like want to like do a do over, just like in terms of yeah, like again, it's like not that I say, oh, this is like a no-go, right? But like sometimes I feel like we lost a bit focus, and again, like much of that is like also on my end. Like, I'm also someone, like, I get distracted right now, but like I get very easily distracted. But like I have a few ideas to remedy that. But like, we need to like just refocus, maybe take a step back, refocus, and start anew, and say, okay, this is a new beginning. Let's try it again, and everything will be fine, right? Just like, again, my play, like I did some. Again, now that I have more time, I can put more time into it. Which is why I said like multiple times, I move away more and more now from like, or trying to move like, except for like a few exceptions. Okay. Except for like a few exceptions, I move away from like gaming more and more because I think it's more fun to like prep. Like I just wanna like build a bit and think about stuff that is like cool for you to see, but not cool for me to like play in front of you. You know what I'm like on about? Like again, for me, it's very important that we roleplay in this role-playing game. Like I don't want to have like a pure dungeon crawler. Like that is not how I DM. That is not what I like about this game. This game, like I like the good like mix between everything, but like I think having a better world than better just like NPCs for like the main NPCs that you interacted with, which I do not count Hilda for because Hilda was a vehicle, which was a bad vehicle. But like for example, I'd rather have two characters that are as much enjoyed as Van Baal than like 50 characters that are just as tolerated as Nadina, if you know what I mean. And I think I need to focus a bit on that and not have them be part of the spotlight, because that is the wrong approach. And my lack of like wanting to spotlight certain characters in the world, which is totally wrong because I took way the wrong inspiration from like the way wrong sources. Because as you said, I'm not an author. I'm not writing a book. I'm building a world. And the world and a story that like interacts with you, that gets predetermined by you as the players. You have the agency. And I just say, okay, in this world that I built, this would happen because of that, right? And not like, oh, shit, the Empire, and now thing, and next thing, and next thing, and world-ending threat, and now here's this. Because there was not much interaction. And I think like letting go of that concept that I could write something, but not like instigate something that is fun, is like, I think that was the wrong approach. I think I was way too much in the mindset of I want to write a cool story instead of I want to have a cool theme park for you to enjoy with world building and like characters that support your adventure and not like that are on your adventure, you know? It's hard to like put into words, but like basically I want to refocus a bit. Like still keeping the same stake of like the 50-50, but like it's more interesting to see you interact with one another instead of like, where like in this campaign that is like my fault, again, my fault, not yours. You did like the least mistakes in like all of this as the players, but like we had like a very heavy focus on like you interacting with me as like you the players interacting with me as the NPCs, instead of like you interacting with you plus some dialogues as a group with some NPCs. That is not to say that I will like X out like everything to like one NPC per campaign, because that can also get quite stale because there's only so much things to say. But like, again, refocus the stakes. That is like again, refocus, think about other things, and like think from a different perspective now. And prep different. I will prep different than I did before. I thought about like I use so many tactics to prep quicker, to like build the world, while neglecting the prep, because like I picked concepts that told me, okay, you need to quickly do like 10 things that could possibly like answer or lead to other things in this world, which is a nice concept, but I will cut it down to like 5 or 2 or 3 per session. Because like I took advice, which is like have 10 secrets and clues per like session that the players could possibly reach, right? It's either clues to an ongoing situation or secrets in the world. And like that overloaded so much information into like what you were doing, because every NPC had something important to say, and that like caused the Mass Effect-esque running to like every NPC, which is like bad. It's like killing the flow. Like I want to like focus a bit more on like having good flow in the game and having you in the center stage, which I somehow, as a DM or GM that wants to support you and wants to see your character succeed, somehow like conflicted a bit last campaign. It's weird. It's like I could like talk 3 hours about this and like pick apart the point where I said, okay, I lost the focus here. But like I think you get the point. I think I'm beating a dead horse right now. Let's see. We take the Dark Ray. The important thing, like in hindsight, is that yeah, there were things wrong, be it my lacking prep, be it like everything else going on in life. But like the important thing is we had fun, and the fun we had is like not gone because we say, okay, it's better to do a restart. It's like absolutely fine. And that nobody's like angry at someone for like doing this, right? Like that we are like honest about like first of all, like that we are honest about like, oh, we want the reset, and that the reset is like a possibility for us to do like better stuff, right? Instead of like, oh, we need to reset because someone did something bad. That's not the point. And I think we will get on a similar level there, I think, on Friday, where we agree that like there's points that just can be better in that campaign, and that we will improve next time. We're just like, we're not professionals. We're just people playing a game, having fun. Also, I can do a bit of homebrewing, which is also great. Because, spoiler, there will be homebrewing. Like in terms of like, of course, setting, and not in terms of rules. Well, rules a little bit, but like, just a smidge. The stuff that you like proposed, I really like. I read up on the rules for like ABP, And I think the rules are quite good for like more fluent play. Especially since you want to like, since I want to like give out different magic items instead of like, oh, I need, like, I love that the rules say, well, if you don't want to need to give like someone certain magic items, that is the rule for you. And that, I think, even though I like the stat increases on items, I think that is like the better system actually. We will brighten up the pants and we will brighten up the... I think we are doing the robes first. The original original playtest did have no runes. That is true. And they only like put runes back in, like if you go into that, because I did my research because I was like not sleeping. Like the original playtest also said like where they reintroduced runes after players complained that runes are gone. So basically it was a nostalgia thing. So I would be like willing to test out new, like why not test it out, right? We can switch back to like if it's shit after a while. We can switch back to runes and say, okay, you have the runes of that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of like trying out shit. So yeah. And the sessions I played one shots in with like AVP, in my opinion, went way more smoothly because like you needed less prep time. So I'd rather give you like cool items instead of like, oh, we need to have runes. But like also have like a very big point with like the item progression in like Pathfinder being like super bad if you have like too many people depending on certain runes. Where it's like once you try and like have like different, for example, different marshals, you want to just fodder the strongest one and just like backline the other one. Because, well, the other one is worse, so of course you want to have your strongest marshal to have the best runes. And like, I think that system kills it. And as long as nobody's like pulling out a random kineticist, you know. Random kineticist go brr. Yeah, that is like one of the things. Like, you just can like resource. You can just resource like scrolls and stuff. The only thing that gets like a bit overabundant is like exactly. There's also like the only thing that I will be like needing to see like in play that will get annoying is like the thing that like it very much on higher levels devalues having medicine, like having the medicine feats, because like it's way easier to like just buy healing scrolls. On higher levels, that is like the thing. Not on low level. Low level still has like the gold problem, but like later on, like having like just like buying random scrolls for 4 gold is just like a more efficient way than like to heal up quickly, than like having oh just good, the music stopped. Then like having a group like medic. Because it's just actions, you know? You just like throw like, in a minute you just bash out 10 scrolls and have like the same result as like someone like doing treat wounds for 10 minutes. But that's like something that's like very, very specific, so I'm not dissing that. Yeah, exactly. I've done that, definitely. I'm not saying it's important and stuff like that, you know. I'm just saying like, of course, like it makes a difference in settings where, or like in situations where you have a ticking clock. So it can take pressure off, but like I don't see you just randomly buying 40 like healing scrolls. I just don't see it. I mean, that is like some Bugs Bunny shenanigans that like, sorry, it's not Ridun, it's Raiden. I need to say it correctly. He told me that Raiden like basically like would do, because it's like the same thing as having a 10-foot pole. It's super good, but it's like exactly like exactly that, right? But like I try not to like think about it too much in the second campaign. I think I try to think about some things, but like that is what I meant earlier with like I'm way too strictly thinking about the gameplay repercussions of stuff instead of just saying, why the fuck not? Seriously, why not? They can afford it. It works in everything. Why not in this? Which wizard has like, or which magic store has 40 fucking healing scrolls? Maybe in a big city, yeah, but like not in a small town. I can limit that still. And then again, like, next thing, right? As I've said, like, you could definitely, like, stop combat for a sec to give someone also more time to think in, like, combat, which is also something I was thinking about. That, like, storytelling in combat, which is something that Regosh said, like, combat can tell a story. Yes, I agree. It's very hard to do, but, like, I was thinking, even though a turn takes 6 seconds, if you know you have someone who takes longer to like think about their turn, which we do have, then I introduce like characters speaking during combat, like with each other. Like, it does not matter. Like, it has no gameplay repercussions if the villain or like the enemy talks to like the other guy he's crossing swords with. If it's not done like in every hit, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, free actions can be taken out of turn order. Yes. But like, of course, like a turn would take 6 seconds. But even if they talk 10 seconds, you know? Like, that gives like a bit of a buffer to someone who's thinking about the turns. And like, give like a bit of interchange. So it's not like 3 random bandits and you kill them and that's that and nobody said a word. You know, it's like you hit him and then like the bandit says, well, haven't seen your kind in these parts, and suddenly you have the racist bandit. It's like it just works better in like flow. And that takes you 1 hour and 25 minutes. What do you mean with that takes you 1 hour and 25 minutes? You mean combat? Because for combat, I have an idea. Yeah. That is why I think like that advice is like way better, because you can I can work with that and make combat a bit RP heavier. Because I also like that in this campaign more, even though it was a wish of over to have like basically a bit more like narrative combat again. That was like last campaign where it's like, okay, how do you finish him? How do you do that? We can do that more, but like that gives other people time. But I've like thought about like 2 things. First of all, I know I'm just like talking at the moment and not painting, but like it's so important to me like to talk about this, because I've like for the last 3 days, 4 days, I've done most of that like just thinking about this. I think, or I feel that it would be good if I announce who is next after the turn, to just like have people start thinking during other people's turns. Because like everyone sees the initiative and I want to have like this, like, okay, it's that person's turn, you're next. Just heads up, you're next, right? Just so we can speed it up. And if it does not work, I'm getting something. BRB for like 10 seconds. I'm also getting something to drink. Is it in here? I think it was in here.
Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities.
I still have these. I have like
The ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright.
yeah, wait a second.
Take my eyes open to force reality.
Okay, so first of all, I have like those good old faithful 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute. And if someone does not go fast enough, then we can pick out the 3 minute thing and just do it 1 turn, 3 minutes. Have a go. Like in 3 minutes, I want to have everyone to know what they want to do, because that's like 15 minutes for like a round, which is more than enough, in my opinion. Recommend me a YouTube video campaign after a stream, by the way. I feel like we come at a different... like, how would you go at this? Like I go at this like, well, I have an idea how this should... Well, I don't have an idea how this should work, but like, I have like very different ideas from like very different sources. For example, I do not want a Critical Role-esque campaign. Like, I do not want that. Just because it's... Well, it is more of a show than a game. That's like the fact of life. And the thing about that is that when you play... that's not necessarily a stream GM thing. That's like most... Well, it's like... It's weird. If you go into like basic DM advice or GM advice, that is like in there. Because like many people in live play sessions do that. But like... The idea is like you don't need to like you just need, well, it's just there to like have someone who gets the kill, have like a creative way to like defeat the enemy no matter how, right? That's like the idea, just like to reactivate you back into like, okay, we leave combat mode and go into RP mode. I can look into like, for example, the original where I got it from was actually from Critical Role, but like Matt Mercer again is like a different kind of GM than I am. But like descriptive combat is just like, okay, what would it look like if you do this? For example, I mean, it could be just like I just run to him and cut his head clean off. That is enough for me. Right? I just want to have like the character describe, like I want to up the cool factor a bit. That's like the main goal for that, right? And reactivates like, oh, we're going back into descriptive play. That's the goal for that, at least in my opinion. But like we have like very like different angles, of course, on stuff, but I think there's like a few points that I could like, or a few short advice videos I watched back in the day and still like now, that I say, okay, that describes some scenarios. But like the question for me is always, as a DM, because like I describe stuff and you have a picture in your head. And I want the same, like, I want to give you the same ability, you know? That is like the idea for that. So that you can say, okay, so that we don't say, okay, I attack, I feint. Rather than like, I run towards him and then I go for an attack. And then like, or like I run toward him, then I, like, for example, feint and go for an attack. Is better than I move, I feint, I strike, right? It just has a better flow. Not that I want that that you tell me your 3 actions like one after another, but like, I think that makes it flow better if you like say, okay, I move there, and then when I get there, I will go for a strike, right? Like, just like everyone in our session is like very good with words usually, and like I think we are selling sometimes ourselves a bit short when it comes to combat, because we have like that switch in like, this is combat mode and this is like play mode, right? And I don't want for you to have like a paragraph every time you do something. Sometimes a climb is a climb, but like, I think it makes things more interesting if like people describe it, because I want to do that more again as well. For example, if someone uses like, exactly, I think we need to like bridge it a bit better, because we don't play just chess. You know what I say? Like what I'm saying. We're not playing Warhammer or whatever. We are playing still a role-playing game. And for example, it's like, best example, I will do it like a bit like, oh yeah, right, the camera's the wrong way around, so I'm not doing that. So it's like this character that I have right here that I will continue painting very, very soon. She moves like, where are my... I have like 10,000 pieces here everywhere around my table. Let's do it like this. No matter what she does, like, she has now burning hands, okay? So, instead of saying, I go there and cast burning hands. Yes, you do. Everyone does that. No. Like, I want to, like, go back into, like, describing, like, this. So, you use a move action, you go there, you know, and then you cast burning hands. You can say that, but I would then love to go myself, if you don't do it yourself, to like, okay, while you run there, you skid to a stop and just raise your hands in front of you and cast burning hands, and then for that damage. Because while the description runs, you can roll dice. That's like that would be like the ideal way, right? So you don't have like that dead silence. I think that like just increasing fluidity, I think increasing our fluidity would be great. It's not like my highest priority, there's more important stuff, but like getting like a bit more fluent in like how the game runs. Again, no criticism that we are bad at that or something like that. I just think we, like, I'm of the opinion that we could get better at that. So where was I? Right. And yeah, of course, like, not everyone loves this, right? It's like, I don't want everyone to be like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to force someone to do something they don't like, right? For example, if you do not like the descriptors, we can leave them out. It's like, no prob. It's not like something that breaks everything for me. Like if someone says, oh no, I do not like this. which is why I say I want to try stuff. But like, yeah, combat flow for us is like, to get like the encounters done faster would be great. But that is also part like of my prep. I need to like prep stuff better and like be faster with my turns as well. Yeah, I mean, that is somewhat true, but like, for example, confession time, there's sometimes encounters where I just don't look deep enough into the monster. For example, like, the monsters also have roles, right? Like, let's not kid ourselves. There's like monsters that are like specifically, oh, this is a grappling monster, and this is like a fainting monster, and this is an intimidation monster, you know? This is like the buffer of the group. So I need to like look into that more, especially into spellcasters, because that makes turns faster. That is also true, yeah. Like most of the monsters have athletics. But in theory, like, you need to like, I need to up my speed as well. Like, this is not like a thing where I say, oh, it's my player, so oh, it's only me. It's like I don't want us to be like sitting there at the end and saying, I'm the best the best Pathfinder player that ever was. Like, that is not my goal. But like, I think we could like get more value out of our game, which would make the game fun in a different way that we could get out of there by immersing ourselves a bit more. Because I think like, not only immersing ourselves more, but also getting stuff done faster. Because yeah, some fights just drag on, but like, some fights should not drag on, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that also helps if you just like delete a few like unnecessary things that make combat long. And also like relearning how combat works. For example, a rule I totally forgot is that like line of sight is a point from the center of your model to any part of another model, and not just like a part of your model to a part of another model. So, but like cover works center to center, which does mean corners in theory do not work, but there's a rule saying, well, the DM can say it works, so I say corners work. But like stuff like that, right? So like simple stuff like that always gets forgotten at some point, and I'm just like a bit dumb sometimes. So yeah. But like stuff that just speeds up the game. There's so many rules that you can like very go through stuff very fast, and also like the tired is not down. Yeah, I know, but like there's like there's like stuff that of course like we like there's like so much little stuff that like sometimes you forget, but like of course it's like we're not dumb. Of course we're not dumb. Like, but like of course we're tired. It's like Friday evenings, right? Yeah, exactly. The problem is like I've read somewhere that like you could also start sessions with combat, and like the problem with that is like how you initiate it, except for like having like a cliffhanger, because like I read somewhere like people like to like start every session with like a small combat, like a James Bond movie, and I'm like, dude, after a while I would get so annoyed by this, because like you don't get in. Like, how do you start a session in a combat encounter when you are like in talks with someone? Like, is there always a random assassin that just attacks you? Do you have like a stalker that attacks you every time you go somewhere? But yeah, we tend to do it as like. I mean, yeah. I'm also thinking about reworking how we start sessions. By which I mean, maybe I should do the recap again. Not that like you're doing a great job doing the recaps, man. You like there were like games where you reminded me of stuff. Like actually. Like your recaps are really good. I think Flat Earth. Yeah. But like I think the way we recap games puts very much pressure on you. And I think maybe we should just like see how much we can like put that pressure on me again, because way back then it was like a free inspiration for you. Now you get nothing out of it, and I think it like puts too much like scribe work on you, which is like, if you like it, sure, you can still do it, but like I do it myself, and it's like the original idea was like everyone says something during a recap, and it turned to be like only you say something during a recap. But like I would love to like see how much we can also think about trimming a bit of like the recaps. But I don't want to lose like I don't want to retcon stuff. But like in all in all, it's like it puts very much pressure, like of course on you, but like it's like the original idea that everyone recaps a bit has just died. Like nobody's doing it except for you, and I find that a bit unfair. So like instead of like forcing everyone to recap, because that's not wanted, and you get a hero point regardless, I can do the recap. But that is also stuff I'm just thinking about. There's like so many little things I'm thinking about at the moment. Yeah, Ova is getting into it, has been getting into it as well. TBH. But like on my Saturday games, I also recap myself. Like I've stopped recapping for the other players. Like I've stopped having the others recap after like we had an arc where like the recap barely worked because nobody was saying anything, or like we had like a prolonged break and then nobody knew what the fuck was going on still. So yeah, we are like, I'm like thinking about doing that. Like just getting the recaps done myself. Yeah, that was like my hybrid idea to like I had like 3 things on the table. Either I do nothing, which is always, well, not optimal, except if it works, which it does. It works, right? But like, again, I don't want to have like someone be the guy. People are actually gaming on their phones during your session? Like, if that's the case, dude. For me, it would be a no-go. Like, I would just simply not DM for them. I hate that. Like, I literally hate that. I do not like that, like, in one of my sessions, one of my players, once he's not in the dialogue, he just, like, literally puts his phone out and reads Reddit. I hate that. I told him I hate that, and that is for me, like, a first nice warning. After that, like, there's a warning shot, and after that, like, I either kick them or I don't want to play with them. But, like, I've never had the situation where I needed to be, like, rough with somebody. I think the only time I got rougher, where I said, okay, it's enough, was, like, when we had, like, the discussion about troops. That's the only time I can remember where I said, I have enough. This is, like, I'm saying this now, and we're playing it this way. I'm done discussing. I think that's the only time. Because, like, I was actually, like, annoyed that we had, like, a discussion going on for, like, half an hour that was one-sided. But, like, that's the only time. But yeah, like again, our fights, like with the fights in general, like I'm thinking about stuff. Again, I have the outline of your session 0 planned. I just need like the only thing I want from you as a group, because I know that, like, it's annoying for Over and you, especially since you've, like, done it, like, 3 or 4 weeks ago, is, like, I want to have a full background. Again, I'm sorry. And with one thing added to it, I want everyone to have a motivation. Like, I don't want an open-ended character anymore. I do not want a character that has as a motivation, think something about, like, this is my background and everything else is up to you. I want one motivation that keeps that character in an adventuring party that wants to fight with other people, because it's not, again, like, as a DM, it's not my responsibility to keep the party together. It's my responsibility to give them a common cause that they can fight under for different reasons and like bring their backgrounds together in some way. But like, it's not my like, I'm not responsible for like 5 people at the table saying my character would work with these other people. Or like how my, as much as I love that player, right? I love that player with all my heart. Yeah. Give us a... Yeah, I will define a goal as of like session 0. Like a general goal of the campaign will be defined. I have a goal in my mind, but like I need to like do it. I need to like define it like a bit better still. That is something I will do tomorrow in the afternoon. Because tomorrow in the afternoon I will just write. I will not stream or something like that. I will just write. But like the thing about this is like where was I? Right. The one player had like as a character goal, find out how my previous character died. Which is a fine goal if it's like a successor story. However, talking to the like joining a group of the people who saw that character or know how that character died, you know, because they found the corpse, and then like joining that party, going on like 4 sessions, and say, well, I knew my character goals since session 1, so this character would not stay in the group. Is like, yeah, like maybe more than that. You know what I mean? Like the rough goal about this like next campaign is like basically basically, as I said in the Discord, the focus is like on that coastal area, about like guilds and like how a fantasy setting like proceeds into like a new era of time. But like also like the true goal would be like, it's hard to like define, like especially right now because I don't have like a short sentence, because basically this is like the remnants, or like the remnants of your, yeah, exactly right, because like goal was like the remnants of your like of your previous campaign, what the fuck happened and why has the roof not collapsed, but also like establishing yourself in a world. Like the leitmotif would be, if I would have like a leitmotif, it would be like, of course, like going into like swashbuckling, but like establishing yourself or finding your, well, the best thing would be finding your place in the world and establishing yourself. I think like that is like the leitmotif, if I would do it in a general consensus, because like swashbuckling is that, like you have like swashbuckling, but like maybe making a name for yourself, is that like the thing? Because like the entire thing is you are like in a very guild heavy area where like everyone has self-interests and you want to establish yourself beyond that? Is that like something you like that I understand, like could explain proper? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, Bildungsroman is a genre. Swashbuckling is a tone, yeah. True that. Sorry, Mr. Germanistic man. I know, like the idea is like, again, the problem with like defining that right now as a leitmotif is that I'm like still hung up in like, yeah, exactly, yeah, or like, yeah, like the genre that we have right now is like, again, like swashbuckling, or like, well, the genre would be more maybe really like piracy. Yeah, it's so hard to define right now because I haven't made up my mind 100%, but like establishing yourself would be like establishing yourself in the world. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like you're basically the entire premise is you're in an area that has like basically so the area I've defined is basically you're like in a small republic that has like formed, but that is like very, very mercantile republic, like very, very like council heavy republic, where like everyone is like serving self-interests, and like you're a cog in the machine, right? Because the world is like moving on from like the imperial turmoil for whatever reason that you will find out at some point why the like that the empire has like, if you say how it like if you stop playing that campaign that you're playing right now, which is very likely, the empire splinters. But like what does that mean for the world, and like how does the world move on from that empire idea, and what like how does a person who's like in the aftermath of that, in like a mercantile republic that relies on trade and like using people to like grow, you know, like for different interests, how does one make yourselves like a name in the world? Like how does one rise above their station as just a cog in the machine? That is like the general idea that I had for this, because it takes into, but no battle sisters, yeah, no battle sisters, because like in theory, like it takes into account what like Regosh said, with like a more realistic goal and like not world-ending threat, but also a more personal story with high stakes. Because if you like, either you accomplish that and become someone greater than just another guy, or like you don't and you become another guy, or you die. That is like yes, these are grave stakes for the characters, but not for the world. And that is like the idea that I had originally about this. So basically you're just like, you either find like allies, and like allies in like acquaintances that help you fulfill that goal, or maybe you find rival parties that want to keep you where you're at, right? Want to keep you as a lowly adventurer or mercenary or whatever. But like I want to have like a bit more realistic antagonists for a fantasy setting. Like I don't want to have world-ending threat right now as an, because we've done it and it flopped. I want to have like something more personal, I think. And so, like, in that setting, how would want to establish themselves and carve out a place in the world for themselves with other people? And what the final antagonist will be is like something that is left open, at least to you at the moment. But like, what is pulling the strings maybe? Or like, is it just a politician pulling the strings? Is it something else? Is it a remnant of their last campaign? I do not want to say because, well, but like, there is stuff happening, and that stuff is influenced by what happened, of course, to your campaign, so you can have a bit of closure in that regard. Because I'm not willing to say we played for like, yeah, more than 2 years now, because we started in like at the start of the year, I think, if I remember correctly. Or did we start at the end of the year when we started the last campaign? For 2 years and say, well, nothing that you did mattered, because that would be a lie. But yeah, exactly. We did it in 2022, right? So we're like, yeah, a bit more than like, yeah, more than 2 years. 2.5 nearly. I'm like not willing to like say that did not matter and everything like old campaign bad, because I'm not willing to accept that. But like, of course, we need to like, I want to get the balance between clean slate, but also give you closure for that campaign, but also for this campaign. So like, of course, like both. But I don't want to do like world-ending threat right now. I want to do personal stakes. If that is something you would be willing to do. If you already say like, I don't feel like that, or have like better advice, I'll take it. Because I came up with that with like 4 days with a concept I did like a year ago. And like, this is not perfect, but I need to have something in the works. So yeah. Yeah, I think that as well. I thought about this like very much, actually, too much. But like, I just don't want to end on a note where it's like just fucking depressing. But yeah, I get it, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I flat out said, okay, the Empire is shattered now. The Emperor, nobody knows. Yeah, exactly. That's true. Like, my very, 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 very first thought was when I started like reviewing stuff, was like, the Emperor's gone. Done. And now there's like a giant hole in the Empire. and politicians eat each other up. That's like the easiest solution to most of the problems. Because that leaves like so much room to like discovery. Because you're not sitting in the empire, right? Yeah, that is also true. Fuck bar, man. But like, I also think that when the empire, like you're far enough away from the empire now, from the central empire at least, that you cannot that you do not see what happened to it. So that is like always an option for you to like say, okay, at some point we want to see what happened to the empire. What is going on there? But not too early, of course, right? Like, again, I want to let the world breathe at the start. I want to have you in a world where, like, stuff is normal for a change at the start. Especially Session 0. It will introduce you to, like, one faction that is, like, in, like, the area. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, which is why like I'm thinking about when to do the time skip, right? Is it like 5 years? Is it 10? Is it 30? Because that makes a very big difference in how much control the Empire has over the years. And if I say 30, that is a big jump, but that would make sense for that large an empire to just fall the fuck apart. But like, you won't see it, but you will feel it, and that is like the idea from it. Like, I think the only character that I am saying that I want, like, spoilers, but like I want to give, because I find it unfair if I don't, because like that is something I decided, like the decision that we will do a skip went completely without him, and like the only character I would consider bringing back as an option for him to play again, because he wants to play him actually, is Ramil. No matter how old he is, but like I find it unfair to say, okay, your character split off, and who was looking forward to that entire Bristleguard political intrigue and like sneaking and shit, and saying, well, sucks to be you, bye-bye. That, I find that a bit unfair, which is like the only character where I would say, yeah, that would make sense to like keep it on the back burner. Exactly that. Like, he lives long enough. Same with Favim. Like, if, and that is very, very, very big if Favim wants to be played again, which I felt after Saturday that is not the case. Yeah, then that would be like also an option. So like these two characters, like I have like very much leeway with. Like that is like that are the two characters I would say, yeah, I would bring back. The rest I'm open for. Like, that is like something I would be willing to discuss. Okay. The reason being just because it does not fit, or you feel like it does not fit, or what's the reasoning there? The thing is, like, what I find very, very, very interesting right now is we have the possibility of basically, and I'm not saying that we should, but like we have the possibility of basically putting the gun on everybody and like have some interesting storytelling there. How the like is the Vidaleth dead? If so, how did they fucking murder that guy? And if not, how did they not like what does he do now, right? Like it's a win-win in storytelling because I do not need to show you. But like at the start, right? Like the story is very independent of that thing. Is the Emperor still alive? Does he exist? What happened to Zigaricus? What happened to like every other dragon? What happened to like Wu Ming? What happened to these other things, right? But like we could pull the gun on everyone. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. If you awake a kaiju, it creates a crater. Yeah. But like there's like stuff that we can do because as I said, I will go more into homebrew, which is so good because I said mercantile and like sea trade, seafaring. That means that naming conventions are different because, well, more foreign. That is true. I would actually consider turning it into something else. But what I wanted to say was, like, for example, what happened with the phalanxes, right? What happened to them? Do they still exist after the Empire falls? Where are they? What happened to the armors, right? Stuff like that. I'm like very, 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 very excited for that because it gives like better storytelling, but also not deletes the setting, which I'm very grateful for, that you say, okay, we give that setting another chance. Yeah, exactly that, right? Like I think the base idea of the undead phalanx that was kept alive by the suit, like you fought in that one dungeon, that I found that idea not that dumb in hindsight, but of course someone else has done it before, like everything else. But like I think it's like a very, very, very interesting concept of like serving still unto death. Even though that is like pretty much Warhammer again, but but also I'm thinking about like de-Warhammerifying my setting because where it was very, very, very at the end it became more and more Warhammer. I felt like, which is bad in my opinion, because I don't want to play Warhammer if I play Pathfinder. But yeah, like that's the main thing about like. I think we should have like a personal story, just like as a palate cleanser. I also think that people stick more with personal stories instead of like overworld stories. Because like, in all honesty, like, why do people play Baldur's Gate except for like playing a D&D 5e game and having like so much choice? It's like because they like the characters, right? Like, the most memorable parts about Baldur's Gate is like the personal stories of the characters. And I think that is understandable why that is for many people very, very interesting and like as an idea very attractive. That does not mean I want to play Baldur's Gate because as established last time we spoke in person, Baldur's Gate is the worst counterexample of what I want, like, of what this campaign is going to be, because Baldur's Gate has like power scaling like fucking Dragon Ball, man. It's like horrible. I mean, yeah, it's over 9,000. Like, Baldur's Gate literally gives you like an NPCs at the start that say... Exactly, Baldur's Gate 1 power scaling instead of Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. Because like Baldur's Gate 3 was absurd. It was just fucking absurd, man. Here come the eyebrows. So yeah, we are doing like, again, it's like a bit different now, but again, I'm not I WhatsApped quite a lot with like another player, and I was like, yeah, I'm not mad at all. Like I understand the complaints. Again, like sometimes like I of course. Sorry, I need to concentrate because this is like the eye. God, this is so hard to see. The problem, like I wish we would have talked about this sooner. I know why you didn't, and it's absolutely fine. It's just for next campaign, I would say that on Friday as well. Like, if you do not like something or say that was shit or like you do not like it, we need to like, of course, talk about that earlier. Because I cannot read minds. That's like the problem. It's like, no, it's not like... I may have difficulty reading a room sometimes, and Yeah, it would be nice if like next time we talk about like stuff like this. Talking about it earlier would of course help, because I can adjust then. Because now adjusting was impossible. But it would be possible if we do a time skip and say, okay, everything happened and now here are new people that we have, which is what we are doing. By the way, do you know what I'm building right now? I forgot, because I will stop streaming soon. I'm doing this for 3 hours now and I'm talking most of the time, but I think Senaru is for the most part done. She needs a bit of time in the dryer so she can like... I need to like fix her eyes, but yeah. I'm building something, well, for the follow-up campaign, if we play it. But also for, like, all the other stuff that we're doing. Where is it? Look! It is docks! It is dock tiles! Which I also need to still paint. But you can, they're like adjustable, so basically you can put multiple together and build them like this and stuff like that. Only problem with them is they don't have squares on them, which is a bit bad, but I know that like about 3 planks is 1 space. But yeah. But finally docks, so we can have dog fights. Anyway. Good, doesn't matter. I will clean up now because I need to go to bed in like half an hour, or I want to go to bed. I know this was not like a very big stream. I talked mostly about the upcoming campaign I'm playing. But yeah. Next time we will paint more of her and more this guy, but yeah, that happens next time. I will let off. I wish you a good night. Yeah, take care. We see each other around, and auf Wiedersehen.